so excited to share with you guys my Minecraft Forever survival world that I've been working on for the last 4 years. The culmination of nearly 1,000 hours spent in this world has led to so many builds, farms, and secrets to share. In order to do a full world tour, we'll need to start at the beginning, so grab your snacks and strap in for the journey. In April of 2020, a few friends and I made a survival server for our annual 2-week Minecraft phase, and we started this world. We now refer to this area as Old Spawn in the world, and here's actually a good map of it here. As you'll probably tell as this tour progresses, I'm very obsessed with having islands, but this is Old Spawn Island, so there's a ton of builds here. It is a survival server, so it's not just me on here, although I mainly refer to this world as my Minecraft world, but other people do occasionally pop on here. It's just that for probably 2 out of the 4 years that this world has been going on, I've treated it as a single player world, and then some of my friends occasionally pop in to make their own builds. So this, as you could probably tell, is the town hall. I didn't build this build. One of my friends built this. It is really impressive though, so I wanted to showcase it, and I also wanted to show the map that was inside of it. But this is the exterior of the town hall. This is apparently a purple glass canyon. I've never seen this. A lot of this stuff I haven't actually been here in a few years. It's raining now. I haven't been here in a couple of years, so it's actually a bit new for me as well. And this is banners of the Ender Dragon here, which is cool. So coming down this path, this is actually going to lead us to my first ever house. I guess this is my starter house. It's nothing really that impressive, but it'll be cool to see this for the first time again. This is much smaller than I remember it. I have a llama named Lloyd outside of it. This is my starter house. Like I said, I was only in it for a little bit of time before I moved into a bigger one. And it looks like I have the world's most ethical sheep farm here, as well as a cow farm. That cobblestone wall actually used to house the map that was in Town Hall, and I donated it to the Town Hall, so it's just a blank cobblestone wall. Going inside, it's, again, nothing impressive. Actually, as I go through a lot of this stuff, I'm going to check the chests just to make sure that there's nothing in them. I don't know if I left some valuable stuff, but probably not. This, I imagine, was my first ever bed. I think the fact that it's red probably means it was made before the update that made like the beds take the wool color, so that's actually a cool relic. Down there is a strip mine. I'm not going to go down there. And this is my first ever enchanting table in the game, which is cool. I might steal this and put it in a museum that I'm making later on. So yeah, like I said, humble beginning. This world definitely wasn't meant to last as long as it did. Like I said, it served for the 2-week Minecraft phase, but we ended up doing a lot to keep this world going. I am not going to go through every single build in here just because I didn't make the majority of these and I don't actually remember what a lot of this stuff is. But the key build that I want to point out here is this one right over here. So this is my turtle sanctuary, as I call it. It is, as you can tell, shaped like a turtle. So those are the fins. This is the turtle shell, and then that is the head of the turtle. So I built this build with actually almost like stone and iron tools, I think. I was doing a little thing in the beginning of this world where I didn't want to do like netherite or diamond stuff for some reason. I guess I was trying to not be like other Minecrafters. So this took probably 6 times longer than it should have taken. Feel free to use as you want. Oh, there's free seagrass. Keep the gate closed and burglars out, and scoots for sale for iron. And there's no scoots in here. So this is the turtle sanctuary. It has, coral, little pond here, turtles for you to breed, and you can hang out here and get scoots. I think I came up with this idea because scoots are kind of weird in this game in that you don't get them immediately, so you kind of need to hang out in a spot and collect them once the turtle grows up. So I built like this, a little tiki bar here to hang out. Actually, this is really cool. I haven't seen this in so long. There's like a little cactus in the pots and stuff. Oh, and this is like campfires for the roof of that, so that's actually pretty cool. Wow, I'm actually pretty impressed with how old this is and how well it came out. More turtles. It seems like they've all congregated here on this little bridge. I'm not quite sure why, but all of the turtles are here. And then this is a little campfire here. So a little bit of a funny story about this place. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of saving the turtles and the cutover from plastic to paper straws in a lot of restaurants and fast food places. I don't really know why I thought that this meant that straws were made out of turtles, but that is something that I had said, and my friends had never let it go. I do know now that straws are not made out of turtles, and that it was just to keep the turtles safe. But yeah, they made a straw factory right across the street. And then flying way over this way, this is the first unfinished build that I've done on this server. I burnt out of the 2-week Minecraft phase when building this, so it never got done, and I actually never had a chance to get back to it. What this is supposed to be is sort of inspired by Lord of the Rings Minas Tirith, if anyone has ever seen that. Sort of like a tiered city, so this would be the first tier of the city. The walls would be much larger, it wouldn't be made out of stone bricks or anything like that, but I gave up midway through the dirt, apparently, over here. Ooh, some goodies are in here. And I mean, that's pretty much it for this area. There will be a world download here, so you can download it and come here and check it out if you want to. But a lot of these builds just aren't mine, and there's a lot more to show, so I'm just trying to pack it all into the time allocated. After I burnt out on building that city, we kind of went on a little bit of a break with the world and started anew probably again a couple of months later. But what was different this time around was that we took the island of Spawn and transplanted it into a brand new world. So back then we really were obsessed with having a new Minecraft experience, new world, wood tools and everything like that, but we didn't want to lose the past builds that we had. So I cut all the chunks out, dropped it here in this world in the middle of this ice spike. So all of this is new seed. This is the only relic of the original world, and then we continued on this seed and world file ever since. And the next step on our journey brings us to New Spawn, or New Spawn Valley, or just World Spawn, as most of us on the server refer to it as. This is after we transplanted the old spawn into this seed. This is the World Spawn. It's a bit tighter than Old Spawn. It's not as big of an island. We're actually in a valley in a jungle biome here. So there's less builds here, less room, but it is nice, and I did build myself a proper starter house here. So what you'll notice in a lot of these areas is that there's not really much proper roads. I think I really like building roads. So there's a road from the Nether portal up to my house, which I guess has been named as such. The inspiration for this was kind of like Hobbit hole-ish, but instead of being underground, it would be kind of above ground, built into a mountain here. So there's two sort of windows here, and this mountain was naturally generated. I think I just shaped the stone around the entrance here. A little natural cave coming up, and then going up the signs brings you into the main base. I haven't seen this area in a very long time, so this is all new to me. I actually kind of really like how I made this. There's some bricks mixed in here, a lot of leaves, vines. I don't even remember what these things are called, these lily pad things. I guess I had a nether portal here that was messing with the main nether portal, and one of my friends took it out, so there's just a sign, an angry sign here. Little storage room here. Looks like I looted this. Oh, actually I didn't. I'm going to take all of this redstone because I absolutely need this, and the nether quartz. Actually, I'll probably come back for a lot of this stuff. Oh my god, this is valuable stuff. What the heck? I left all this here when I moved? Aside from being a storage room, I think there's a second level up here. Yeah, so this leads to the back area. You can see the little mesa back there, some farms and stuff. This is a cool view here. And again, I use the campfires as a ceiling. On this side, looks like I had a smelter set up. I was 56 steak. I don't use steak anymore in this world, so I'm not going to take that. I'm going to leave it there. This is my second enchanting setup. This is also pretty cool area. I like what I was doing with, I think moss had just come out when I built this, so this was my favorite block. And it kind of allowed for a grass look. And then on the bottom here, like under these trapdoors, it's also boss block, so I was able to sort of with the trapdoors make it green on both sides, whereas previously with grass you couldn't do that. And then going up this ladder here, I think all that's up here, this is just a bed and the window to the rest of New Spawn. Gonna pop down here because I actually don't know how to get back here. This is the back side of the mountain. It looks like I have some farms lining a little pathway here. This is cool. And then the pathway, this leads to my friend's house. I haven't seen this house in a really long time. I'm actually curious if he ever finished this. This is a really impressive build. I like what he did here with this. That's an interesting use of the lecterns to kind of look like it's supporting the structure. Is there an interior to this house? Not really, no. It is impressive nonetheless. I'll include some more shots of this house. Aside from some farms and some random shops, this is a slime shop that I had made. Actually, did anyone buy anything in here? Nope. No, there's nothing even for sale here, so I guess no one would buy anything. And coming up these stairs here, this is actually the first time I'm seeing this house that my friend made. He actually made this semi-recently, like a couple of weeks ago, so I haven't seen this. It's obviously like Japanese architecture inspired. I think the word is pagoda for that. I don't actually know, but I love the use of the cherry blossoms planted around here. This is super cool with the prismarine and the lanterns hanging in the bamboo. This is a really cool area. I love the landscaping. And oh, these are also lecterns being used for like a fence here. And it looks like the inside doesn't have a ton going on. Maybe up here it does. Nope, the inside is mostly empty. It's interesting because what you'll see with my stuff is I mostly like making interiors and then I don't finish my exteriors, where it looks like my friends just make exteriors and then don't finish their interiors ever. Okay, so I think that's about it for our spawn areas on this world. I think now we can get into the really interesting builds that I've done on this server. Okay, so this is the Nether Hub. I didn't build this Nether Hub, my friend did here. It's really cool though. We use this connecting to most of the other areas of the world. It's built in half a basalt delta and half warped forest, I think that's called. There's a glass on the bottom of here, which is really cool. It gives like a cool view underneath the pathways here. The only downside to having built this in a half basalt delta is that magma cubes will spawn in here a lot. I think a lot of this is half slabs, but in this hallway right here, they're not. You can see them back there. They'll spawn in this hallway pretty often, or on like the edges of this walkway here. So you often have to fight for your life to get anywhere here. But the next area that we're going to, actually, I never connected properly to the Nether Hub. So we have our old Nether Hub is up here in the ceiling, where there's a bunch of tunnels up here that lead to various places that no one ever bothered to move down to the new level that the Nether Hub is on. So I think what we have to go through is this way. Yep, right here. And coming into this portal, you have to walk in it this other way because I wanted it to come out and face a certain direction. And what you'll see when you come through the portal is my skeleton farm, XP farm library is what I call it. So this is a really unique build. This is probably the first like really impressive build that I was very proud of when I started this world. It's built around a skeleton XP spawner, and obviously it's library themed, but in order to get them to start spawning, you actually have to write a book and toss it into there, and that'll kick the whole farm off. I built this pretty early on in the world, so getting this amount of bookshelves was nuts. I didn't have a villager that was able to sell me bookshelves. Now it'd be much easier to build this, but I did this by hand with sugarcane and leather for all these bookshelves. I don't know why. I just really like to handicap myself when playing this game and take it slower, but I've since kind of changed my mindset. And there's a little bar up here, little guy, no trades because I didn't give him a workstation, but this is a cool little setup up here. So with all the lights on, all you do is you grab a book and quill and you write it in here. So I'm just going to say, hello world door. I'm recording this on the 28th of January 2025. So once you do this, then you throw the book right in the middle there. The books will go up into the collection system, but all the lights turn off here, so you'll see the skeletons start spawning immediately. And then this area pops open. This wasn't open before, so the skeletons will come in there. They'll collect in here. They'll go up the tube, just like that, and then they'll head over through the ceiling and then pop down into that area there where they're a 1 or 2 hit kill. And then also when you pop that open, this also opens up. This was closed before, and there's an enchanting table here if you want to enchant things. I don't really use this anymore. Obviously, there are way better XP farms in the later game, but this is a really cool build. And what it actually allowed me to do was collect a good amount of books from people that were using this. So all the books that are written get collected up here. It's kind of like a library of information. We can look back on what jokes we thought were funny between me and my friends, or just like kind of have a log of how long this thing has been going. And then all the drops from the skeletons get filtered into these chests here. I didn't do any auto sorters or anything. It also goes over there. So it's just really clogged up with bows and armor and stuff. But this was my main source of bones for a very long time. And it takes kind of a while for the skeletons to get in here, but once they're in here, then you just do that, get XP, and then their drops will get sent up and filtered over. I did make this before. I think it's called Tinted Glass came out. So like these lights and stuff shut off that are like out here in the main room. I think I probably could update this so that these lights stay on and it's just tinted glass and the lights on the inside turn off. But I'm kind of lazy and I don't really use this as an XP farm or a bone meal farm anymore. And when you're all done, you have to step over these pressure plates in order to get out of here. So stepping on these will turn all the lights on. It'll close up that chamber and close up the enchanting table as well. But the skeletons, if they do spawn, they still kind of end up over there. They're just behind the wall. And the reason I put... Oops, I did not know those were going to break instantly. The reason I put end rods here was to stop zombie pigmen from coming through the nether portal and coming and stepping on these pressure plates when they will inevitably spawn in here. So I think they're not able to get through those end rods, so they just kind of end up getting stuck inside the portal, and then they can't go anywhere. Oh my god, I keep breaking these. Alright, so back in the Nether Hub, we are now going to go to the main base and the island that I've been working on ever since that stuff. This is my Nether tunnel in here. It has a, just ignore all the magma cubes, like I said, they just keep spawning here. It has a automatic minecart system, so it will trigger that on and give a new minecart back there when it's done, and then we'll ride this all the way to the end. I do plan on changing the setting in the world to increase the minecart max speed. I know elytras and fireworks are obviously way faster than this, but something is nostalgic about a classic, rail line here rather than boats and ice. Boats and ice just feel kind of weird to me, and this just feels more classic. But once we get here, the minecart breaks there. It's supposed to put it here, but it broke. I have to fix this area. This is the nether portal to my main base. I haven't really decorated this over here. The rail ends here, but the portal's over here. I plan to put something here. I'm just not quite sure what. I was kind of thinking like a mini scale model of the base, but I haven't really gotten around to it yet. Alright, so we've made it here. The nether portal brought us inside the base, but I wanted to start out here for the tour. Hello, Mr. Cow. So this is my island. As you can see, the landscape is pretty barren, and that's because this island was originally a mushroom island. So ever since I started playing this game, I've been kind of fixated with islands in general, but specifically mushroom islands. I really like this biome, and I decided a fun project would be to do a kind of biome enhancement for this. So I was a little bit sick of the gray purpley grass that spawns in them, so what I did was I converted all of that into just standard grass, and this is that grass color. It's super bright, super vibrant, and I think it's honestly the prettiest grass that's in any biomes in the game, but converting this took a really, really, really long time. I went through a couple different methods on how to convert this, but eventually I ended up using moss and bone mealing moss to convert all of it, and then I would just strip the layer of moss off so it would leave dirt behind, and then I planted green grass and then just let it spread across the island. Before I get to the main base, I want to show just this little area over here. So this is where I first landed upon this island. So I took a boat from over there and found it here, and I set up a little base on this side of the island where I have just a really basic hut. Actually, I'll go down here and check it out. So this was my storage room down here. I don't think there's actually any items in here, even though I stole some other stuff earlier in the tour. I think I actually cleaned this place fully out. There were smelters and stuff here, and then on the two ends were maps that I'll show you guys later. Oh, there's a little snowman here that's been here for years. And then up here I had just a really basic tree farm that I used, and then my bulk storage system was over here. And this is really just full of dirt, stone, a bunch of netherrack that I was originally using to do the dirt conversion, and then the rest of this I think is just moss blocks and seeds and such. And coming over here, you'll see, I don't know why there's a crafting table here. Right here, this is kind of the front of my mega base. Leading up to it, I still haven't made like a path or anything. This is an iron farm. I made this as one of the first things that I made on this island, and it's been chugging along ever since. And then coming up this way, this is where you really see the mega base. This tree has been the newest addition. I'm really happy with how this came out. I finished all the leaf work. I'll probably still like clean up a little bit of the shapes and the detail and stuff, but I'm really happy with how it looks. And then coming over this bridge, this is the inside of the base. So the base is split kind of into three sections. There's the top floor, the middle floor, and then the bottom floor. I'll probably add more as we go, but I'll do the tour sort of from top to bottom. Coming up here, there's still a lot of lights that I have to tuck away here. I didn't realize this when I made it, but leaves actually block light from up above. So like there's just leaves straight above this, and it blocks all of the light from hitting this area. But since it's a mushroom island, no aggressive mobs spawn here, so it doesn't really make a difference, but I'm going to light it all up because it's going to look much better once I do. And then at the top of this temple, there's nothing inside the tree except for scaffolding that I used to create it, and then all the lights that are lighting it up. But I do plan to put something in here, probably some kind of like thing to shoot me up through the top of it so that I can just go kind of fly wherever I need to go. And then inside this temple here, I don't have a door or anything. This is also empty. There's apparently a quarter of a beacon, a full 4 beacon, and then this was a old villager breeder that I was using, but I don't use it anymore, and I really feel bad for these guys. So the main intention of this base is to sort of act as a hub to farm or store pretty much anything in the game that I would need for builds going forward. So this base has a lot of auto farms already, but I plan to expand and add on this more, and it should have the ability to get me pretty much any single block in the game, so that later when I build a bunch of cities and castles and a bunch of other ideas that I have, it's easy for me to grind the resources and to complete all my survival builds. Starting on the top floor, a lot of the base is kind of laid out in like this circular shape. So starting on the top floor, this is one of the first builds that I built in here. This is the enchanting and book storage room. So it's just a standard enchantment table, which I don't really use that much anymore in Bull Grindstone. But what's cool is I use the chiseled bookshelves to, store all the books that I have, and this has a spot for almost every single book in the game, minus a couple of the new ones that came out recently. I do have like a full set of diamond stuff here to check your enchantments. Like you could take out like the shovel and put it in the table just to see what you would get. But I don't, like I said, I don't really use this much anymore. But there is a book and your mom here as well. And if you need lapis for enchanting, you just click this button and it pops 3 out. So you could just do a full level 30 enchant here. Coming up this way, I have a chocolate and straw bee milk music room. I think I only have 1 disc, and that is Cat, but in raiding all the other stuff during this tour, I also found the 11 disc. Going down this hallway, right here, this is an ender pearl dispenser system, so clicking the button dispenses exactly 16 ender pearls. I already had a couple on me, but if I ever run out and I'm running past here, then I just can collect 16 of them. This right here is a bee farm. I don't know where all the bees are, but there's one. They come here and drop honeycombs and the honey bottles as well. There's like a collection system behind it. This is one of my only uses of terracotta in the base, and I really like this. I don't tend to build with terracotta all that much because it requires like a even number spacing of things, and I tend to work with odd numbers, but I really like how this came out here, as well as like the colors with the honey blocks and the acacia. and all of the storage just leads to here. It's actually so full, I need to fix it. But this is just a pretty standard honey farm design. Coming into this corner room, this is a bamboo farm as well as a vine farm. So you're able to come here, grab some shears, and just shear the vines off of this. And they'll just, as long as you don't shear the top set, then they'll continue to grow and you can just shear them and use them. It comes in handy when you need vines for something specific and you don't really have them handy. I use like a glass effect up here for these windows, and I really like how it came out. It looks kind of like foggy green happening there. It doesn't really detract from the brightness down here, so I really like that. And then this is a standard bamboo farm. Once the stock gets up to the observer, then it breaks it and fills it up here. What you'll see in a lot of these farms is a lot of them are overflowing because I only built like one chest worth of storage, so I manually empty these for now, but I plan to have them routed somewhere eventually. Coming into this room, this is my potion brewer setup. This farm, a lot of these farms I designed myself, but this one I didn't. I took most of my inspiration from another YouTuber. I will put their video up on the screen right now because I'm forgetting their name off the top of my head. But the way that this works is, I have swiftness potions all up in there. So if I want to brew, for example, let's say a fire resistance potion, what I would do is click the nether wart, then I would click the magma cream, and then I would click, let's say I wanted to put glowstone attached to it, and then it would send all of those items all the way through into the brewing stand here. So this will just brew it in order of how I click them. So nether wart, magma cream, and glowstone, and create the potions that will end up in here. And then I could also just put storage of the potions down here. I don't use potions all that much, but when I do need to use them, it's really nice to not have to use the wiki because I took the time to put it all on the signs and collect all the stuff for them in here, so it does really help a lot. And the vibe in here, I was going for kind of like a, I don't know, like magical liquid flowing sort of thing. So like I use these amethyst blocks to have like the liquid look like it's flowing and then into like this little basin down here with like glass and glass panes. I like how this came out. It's like pretty mystical in here, and I did the same thing kind of like up on the other side. Over here, this is an automatic water bottle system that will just give me infinite water bottles. And then this is a nether wart farm here. Okay, coming out the other side of this, I actually tend to do this a lot. So there's a painting here, but if I go through, this will bring me to like a little access corridor to the potion room and the lava farm. So I'm not going to go through all the redstone of the potion farm, but I can access it through here if I ever needed to. Coming out this side, this is the lava farm that I have. So all the lava is collecting in the buckets with this dripstone stuff. So there's lava like right above these blocks, and then it drips down into these cauldrons. So I think I'm pretty full on this, but if I ever need to fill up, I just click this button and it spits out 16 buckets at me. Maybe? I only got 14. I don't know where the other 2 buckets went, but it should give me 16 buckets. My inventory is so full, so I'm just chucking them all over the floor. But that's how I farm my lava. I don't ever think that I need this much lava for anything, but when you do need a bucket of lava and you don't feel like going to the nether to pick it up, this is actually a pretty useful farm. Alright, I emptied out all my inventory, so I don't have all this stuff anymore. Actually, let me just go throw the nether wart back over here, because I didn't empty that out of my inventory. Okay, this corner right here, this is like, so the other corner that was like jungly, kind of overworld themed, you'll see I started kind of doing like biome or dimension themes here. So this is like a mini nether fortress tucked inside of my base. There's nothing actually in here. I don't know what to put in here, honestly, but I really like how this looks. It's just, I had space to fill, so I put it in here. I'll probably end up putting like a bunch of fire resistance armor or gear to mine netherite and stuff in this little house, but for now, this has just been for decoration. I really like it here. Coming through here, there's just ignore a ton of these spots. Wherever there's like an empty spot like this, I do plan on putting something in here. It's just that I haven't gotten around to it yet or figured out what I'm going to put inside this little pocket. But coming in here, this is one of my favorite rooms in the entire base. So this is my library villager trading hall here. So I got painstakingly every single book trade in the game in here in these villagers. So right here is where my mending guy is, my unbreaking guy. The trade prices are not great. This took me so long to do that I never bothered to like zombify them and then cure them. So all their prices are their default prices, but honestly, I don't really shop from these guys all that much, so I don't mind. But if I ever need something, it's here. I could grab a book really fast. I have so many levels that I could just create one of any tool or armor in the game within just a couple minutes. And then down here is my like emerald vault. So instead of storing my emeralds in like a storage room, ignore that little hole, I just come down here and like mine some emerald blocks whenever I need to trade with those guys. I find it's like just like a cool little way to keep all my money and visualize it, and I eventually want to expand this into a bigger idea that I have in the future. And then to get out of here, you have to like line yourself up perfectly with the exit here. So, there you go. It shoots you out, and then you can just close the trapdoor. I really like, I did the ceiling design in a couple other places with just like half slabs and then full blocks and then like lights tucked between it. I really like this. I'm not the greatest at ceilings in a lot of places, so it just adds a little bit of texture, but it doesn't really detract from like the main view of all the builds, which I really like. And then coming in this room, I haven't done this one yet, but this is where I get most of my emeralds from. I just trade an iron trade with these guys, and then I use those emeralds buying the books and such. Coming through here, this area is a lot unfinished. I didn't even finish the ceiling of the hallway here. This is going to eventually be like cave themed. These chests are from an old sugarcane farm that I had that I don't have here anymore. I removed it. But eventually this is going to be, I think, like a lush cave theme, because I had the overworld, I had the nether there. You'll see the end corner on the other side, so I think I wanted this to be a caves theme. Coming in this area, this is a cool room, actually. I have to do a little bit more work in here, but this is my explorer room. I built this room after the Tricky Trials update, when I wanted to do some of the trial ruins, or trial chambers rather. And so I got a cartographer villager here with a woodland explorer and a trial explorer map. And then I kind of themed this room around what materials would you need to go on kind of like a combat adventure or an exploration adventure. So firework rockets, food, beds, ender chests, arrows, something to fix your elytra, and just potions that you would need, including like the ominous bottles for the trial chambers. And I want to finish this map. This is like the maximum scale map that there is. I just haven't had a chance to finish the whole map on the table here, but once I do, then I could probably call this room finished. It is one of my favorite rooms in the base. I don't really know why, but it's just such a niche purpose that I'm really glad that I built this. Okay, so up next is my smelter room. I love this room so much. So this is a 16 furnace smelter array setup here. So if I want to, say, smelt up all this sand that I have into glass, what I could do is either put it all in this middle chest, and this would split it between the left and the right furnace array, or I could just put it just directly in here. It doesn't really matter how much you fill it up. But what you'll see is that fills furnace minecarts down here, and then you just flick this lever, and then the minecart will go up above and turn on all of the furnaces. So this will smelt up, and then the outputs will come in here. So I have a bunch of stuff that I still have to empty out. This room is another one that I really love. It just has so much like detail in it. I started experimenting with things like the grindstone being used to kind of like hold lanterns as like a light ceiling fixture sort of thing. The use of the magma and the campfires up here, as well as like the smokestacks on the right hand side here. And this is a really cool detail here. This is an iron helmet on an armor stand that I have resting on snow blocks underneath, so it just looks like it's resting on this table here. So as you'll see, the output comes here, and then if I ever wanted to fill up with more fuel, that's in this chest right here. So I can just fill this up with kelp blocks or coal blocks or blaze powder or anything like that, and then that also is feeding fuel in the back side of this. Coming back up the side here, like I said, this is like another access corridor here, so if I need to like troubleshoot the mine carts or anything like that, I could just go inside here and get to them all. And this is my end-themed sort of corner here. I turned it into a chorus fruit farm. So what you could do is just come up this ladder, and then with the Silk Touch tool, you could break these bulbs and then break the chorus on the bottom, and then that way you can collect and replant them all. I really like this. It's a really tight space, but I feel like I was able to get kind of like a lot of detail, almost like cyberpunky sort of colors in here. One thing that I do still want to do with this though is swap out this ceiling. This is, I think, is black concrete, and I think I want to switch that to skulk blocks because I think those actually look like stars more than the black concrete does. Then looping back around, this just brings us right back to the enchanting room. So I think that about covers this floor except for this. This is my glow squid tank. So I have a bunch of glow squids in here swimming around, some coral, and I really like when the light shines through the sides of the base into here. With just coral and fans and sea pickles and stuff. I really like this. This is a cool centerpiece to this big room, and you can also use these bridges to get around the top floor. So to get to the next floor, usually I just jump down the middle, but I'll use my proper elevator here. So I have just like a water elevator here. You just fall down this and get to the next floor. So you'll start to see that's my storage room there in the main center area, but we'll get to that in just a minute. This is just a really basic cactus farm. The cactus is just growing into the fences and then falls down the middle there. There's no fancy collection or anything. There's a lot of these hallways and stuff that I still have to work out on this level. Coming in here, this is my Insta like crop farm, which is cool. You fill this up with bones, and then what you can do is say I want to like get more carrots. I grab the carrots, I click this lever, and then I just put the carrots in here in this corner, and then it'll automatically grow and harvest them at the same time. This is super cool because I just eat golden carrots all the time, so I use this whenever I'm starting to run out of food. And the redstone setup of this, I did all this myself. So the bones are feeding actually into an auto crafter that's making bone meal. And I could probably have done this way better, but it will put it on a loop and feed all of the dispensers with the bone meal. And then those are all just on a clock that go to bone meal the crops. And then this, I actually don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. This is destroying something in a loop. I just don't know what it is destroying. I think this might just be a trash can here. Is this just a trash can? Oh, it's probably just a trash can for seeds, right? Yeah, I think it's totally a trash can for seeds. Yep, no, that's not great. Wait, some of them just get stuck on that block. There you go. Coming down this way, a common theme that you'll see is actually I have a lot of ender chests and just crafting tables everywhere. I really like to just put them throughout the base. So I just have like different stations just throughout just to have easy access to these so I don't have to keep like putting them down and picking them back up again. So going down this pathway here, down these stairs, and over here, this is the iron farm. So this is this comes from up there where I said was the iron farm. The iron golems come down here, they get killed in lava, and the iron gets sent up these bubble streams here. And then it fills these chests up with iron blocks. I have so much iron between these two systems. I don't know what to do with it, but I love it. And if I just go back here in these access corridors, this one's not as pretty here, but this is just an auto crafter setup to make the iron blocks. And then a disposal system for throwing out all the roses. I do plan on decorating the tunnel between this and the main base. Mainly, I want to add a system to bring iron from here to the other villagers so that I could trade for emeralds much easier than having to run here and grab all the iron and then go back. And then I think the last thing that's on this level, most of this level is unfinished, like all the rest of these hallways are unfinished for the most part. This, I have to wax these up, these light bulbs. This is a dispenser auto crafter setup, so this is in dedication to the worst crafting recipe in the whole game. I hate you dispensers, so I don't like crafting dispensers, but I do need a good amount of them, so I made this setup. So you just feed this shulker box with redstone, this one with cobblestone, this one with sticks, and this one with string, and then when you flick this lever, it will just make dispensers for you. So then I never have to worry about making them, and I could just grab them as I need them and then fill up the materials when it runs low. All right, so going down this way is getting to like the main area of the base. So this is my storage room. This is one of my favorite builds I've ever made in Minecraft, period. It's the greatest storage room I've ever built, and I'm so happy with how this came out. So there are two sort of levels to the storage room. The top level that I'm on currently, this is blocks. So things like all the walls, woods, decorative blocks, like stone and stuff is all up here. And then on this bottom level is things like food and saplings and leaves and valuables and all just like item, not block sort of things are down on this level. And so what this allows me to do, so I don't have 3 chests dedicated to like regular red terracotta. What I do is have sort of sorting systems within this. So like Oakwood, for example, has all the logs in the top chest. It has planks and slabs in the next chest, and then stairs and fences in the next chest. So it allows me to sort them differently based on certain things. Some things like TNT, like obviously I don't have 3 double chests of it, but as more blocks come out in the game, I could always just adjust what's on the top of these and store a different block in here. And then this area, I love this so much. So this is a map wall. I know it's slightly off-center, but I really wanted to capture my Guardian farm over there, so deal with it. But what I did is actually when I first got to this island, I mapped out the entire thing, and minus these 3 maps. You can ignore those 2. But I mapped out the entire thing, and then I locked all of these. So using a cartography table, you can lock maps so they'll never update again. So this is what the island used to look like, and here's what it looks like now. So you can see I've added some things, like I added that lake there, obviously the mega base and the tree. I probably need to fix some of the leaves because this isn't really a great circle. But you can kind of see the scale of this base in this area and just kind of the size of the island, and that's the like landing area that I showed last time. So on this level, aside from the storage room, I do plan, there's 2 tunnels, one's that way, and one's that way that I haven't done anything with yet. But this one I did do something with, so I'll show you this. So this is my tree farm. This has a spot for every tree in the game except for mangrove and pale oak. But how this works is that you can, so let's take oak for example, plant all the saplings here, and then I can click on this lever and it will bone meal all of the trees instantly, and then I can turn it off once it's done, turn it off, and then I can harvest this and get all the leaves and the wood for it. So this farm was a huge help in building the mega tree that's up there, because I wouldn't have been able to get all of these saplings and the wood otherwise. And actually I missed it on the top level up here. So all of this, you'll see like these hopper chains behind the dispensers. This is being fed from a couple bone meal farms, so one's running right now actually. What it really is a moss farm that then composts all of the moss into bone meal, and then it feeds all of the tree farms down here. So it goes through this hopper line, and then like through these silos, and then back here it goes into the dispensers, so that it always has enough bone meal to make me as much trees as I need. This over here is actually a cool design as well, so I came up with this for bulk storage of things like stones and such. So instead of storing just all the stones just directly in the chests, I have a shulker box under the corresponding one. So for stone, if I come here and fill this shulker up, what I can do is just click on the button, it'll pop that out and pop a new one in there. I can just fill this up with the remainder of the stone, and then I can just keep all of my shulker boxes full of just pure stone in these chests, which saves me a ton of space in the storage room. And then going back in here, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the glow squid tank is in the ceiling of the storage room, so I really love how this came out. You can see it from both like on the top level, and then the bottom level here, you kind of get the underview of the squids. Behind the nether portal here is my bedroom. So this serves kind of a couple purposes. It's obviously my beds, 3 beds are here, along with some ender chests, some backup material and gear, a bunch of crafting stations all in one spot. And then a fish tank in which I had a bunch of fishes, but I don't know where they went, so I just have 2 axolotls that are making out in the corner. This I'll get to in just a minute. And then this is my infinite water source, like tucked here in these tiny little waterfalls. So if I ever need water really fast and I'm just in the storage room, I can just grab it from that little area. Okay, so in the floor of my storage room is my mine. This hole mostly wasn't here. There were some caves that you'll see like were naturally generated, but I dug this hole all myself for no reason really. But I added these recently, these just like mine shafts, like poking through the caves, and I want to set up the mine carts on like some kind of like automated system, so like you'll just see them like moving throughout, and it looks like it's a living, breathing mine. But for now, you can just jump through the middle and splash down into the strip mine. I still like to strip mine things by hand. I do have like an iron farm and a gold farm, but I don't have a way to automatically get redstone and diamonds yet, so I do use this fairly frequently, and it goes pretty far. Actually, it probably goes farther in this direction. You can't even really see the end of that. But nothing really else special down here, except for to get out of here brings you up to what I call the severed floor. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I don't know how many people will get this reference. But if anyone is a fan of the show Severance on Apple TV Plus, I recreated the severed floor in my survival world. So this is the lobby, some long tunnels, a conference room, more tunnels. This is macro data refinement, so the 4 desks over there in the corner and the ugly green carpet, and the break room down this hallway. And then it all loops back to the main room, and then taking this bubble elevator up will bring us back to the bedroom. Okay, so coming back over this way, that's the main base over there. Over here, I have a Guardian farm. So this farm is actually not my design pretty much at all. This is a Guardian farm by That Moonshine. I'll put his link to his tutorial in the description. But this was a ocean monument that I had drained out and built this Guardian farm here. So you could see a bunch of them going up and down the middle corridor there. This took so long to mine out all of the water that was in here, but it was so worth it. I think it's so pretty. I realize I'm missing a block right there, but just don't look at it. Please don't look at it. Close your eyes, don't look at that. And then if you pop down the middle here, this is all my design down here. So I have a storage room here. So all the drops from the Guardians will go into these 3 categories: the crystals, the shards, and the fish. And then it'll auto sort them. I've cleaned this out pretty recently. I've needed a bunch of sea lanterns for stuff, but all that's in there. And then this is just like a Guardian pixel art. And to get out of here, you just go through the Nether portal. I will just go into free cam mode real fast. This is my own sorting system that's in here. It's not very good. If I AFK in like the AFK chamber above, it'll actually get more drops per second than this is capable of sorting. So the whole thing eventually will get backed up, and there'll just be like a crap ton of items just sitting in this middle area. So there's still a ton of farms that I want to add and builds that I want to do inside this base. But I think this is pretty much a full coverage tour of all the builds that I currently have done in the main base and the main island. I'm really happy with how the exteriors are still not even really done, but I'm really happy so far with how they've come out. But I do plan on fully terraforming this island, adding some man-made rivers and cliffs and mountains and stuff on here. I just haven't had a chance, and I'm still kind of learning how to make those sort of natural-looking terrains and custom trees and things like that. There are a few other notable farms that I depend on in this world, but nothing of my own design, and everyone's already seen most of these before, but I figure I'd throw some clips into these anyway. So that about wraps up the tour. I hope you guys really enjoyed and liked what you saw here, and I hope to see you guys in future videos.